If you like a good movie and love a tasty treat, you could win one of 3 HD flat screen TVs. This is your chance to snack, watch, and win. Buy a 3-pack of Act 2 popcorn or a 10-ounce Crunch and Munch, plus a Hershey's milk chocolate or cookies and cream bar. Write your name and number on the back of the receipt. Drop it off at Pritchard's, Robinson Road, or Caleb Bahamas, Marathon Mall. Then order a movie from Rev TV On Demand, Channel 500, for your chance to snack, watch, and win. Enter today. Promotion ends August 30th.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned in to MB12, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, the Commissioner of Police says despite reports, murders won't be reclassified. Plus, why a group of environmentalists are calling for a Freedom of Information bill to be enacted. We've got those stories and so much more coming up. I'm Paige McCartney, and MB12 starts right now. Well, Commissioner of Police Allison Greenslade says he will not allow the police force to reclassify any murder that occurs in the Bahamas. He said when police reclassify an incident originally believed to be a murder, it's done because sufficient evidence later uncovered indicates a murder did not occur. Questions on the murder count for 2013 arose when police recently reclassified 2 killings that occurred last month. Head of the Central Detective Unit, Superintendent Paul Roll, said last week that just because someone got shot and killed doesn't mean that it's murder. He was speaking to the unclassified deaths of 36-year-old Elkin Moss of Jackfish Drive, who was stabbed to death after he got into an argument with another man at his residence on July 21st, and 30-year-old Dinero Roll of St. Vincent Road, who was stabbed during a confrontation with a relative on July 28th. Those incidents have yet to reach the coroner's court, but Greenslade said there's no gray area.
If someone is arrested and they're charged, or we expect to charge them for murder, we take the file forward now in the new process, and there's a deliberation between the Office of the Attorney General and detectives before the charges are brought. We are guided many days, certainly on all of those murder files and very serious crime files, by the advice of the Office of the Attorney General.
And how many murders are being reclassified right now?
No murders are being reclassified. This commission is not reclassifying any murders. I'm not going to allow it. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to allow the public to malign me because of foolishness. My position, again, is very clear. If a matter occurs where we suspect that there is a murder, we call it a murder. You turn up as a press, it's a murder.
The commissioner said he has instructed his officers that deaths be classified on scene as either sudden deaths or murders. He said where there is sufficient evidence and reasonable suspicion on a scene to suggest a murder has occurred, police will state that.
If someone dies within the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, there is no fidgeting. There should never be any fidgeting. And I've asked my officers to cease and desist with that. It's either a murder or it's a sudden death. A murder meaning the evidence is there, reasonable suspicion to suggest that something went wrong, there are obvious injuries, the circumstances are such that you can right now say, you know what, this looks like a murder scene. There is a sudden death, I expect the same attention to be paid, but I do not wish us to rush to judgment. There is no injury that's obvious, the person may be a bit aged, family members are present at all times, that person has also died and it has a right to be investigated. There's no such thing as a suspicious death.
Well, customs and immigration workers are still awaiting a court date to clear up outstanding issues that led them to industrial action earlier this year. Last year, Customs and Immigration and Allied Workers Union workers led industrial action in their fight for increased rights and benefits for workers. Union Vice President Sloan Smith says the Supreme Court will now ultimately determine the salaries and compensation issues affecting hundreds of workers.
Customs, Immigration, Allied Workers Union came to an impasse with the government, present administration, and it was determined that we had the matters that we agreed upon, we'd forward to the government, and those issues that we could not agree upon, essentially salaries and compensation, we'd take it to court. And so we filed that matter before the court already.
He says he does not anticipate it will be a lengthy court battle, as everything the union is asking for is in the rights and benefits afforded to customs and immigration workers.
The matter as we see it should not take that long. Our attorney, Mr. Obie Ferguson, having filed it on our behalf, pretty much advised that all things being equal, subject to government doing its due diligences within the Immigration Department, Customs Department, this should not take that long.
And that writ was filed about 2 months ago. Stick with us. Coming up after the break, how one group says a Freedom of Information Act will help the environment. We'll tell you more about that and other stories when we come right back.